Autumn? Autumn? What? Autumn? It's too early for autumn. I'm gonna have to state my opinion on this. Anyways, I need to pass this account. What's volatility like? We actually, it looks like we have some freaking volume. Oh wait, that's from yesterday. No, not much volume going on, but we gapped up. We didn't gap up, but nice move up right at the end of the market there. Let's get a VWAP right here. It should be from the start of the move. I think it makes more sense. Yeah. There we go. Like if I had a regular VWAP, where would that shit be? Yo, all the way up here for the session. That means we just have good bounce levels around these, especially down here. Excellent spot to buy. Let's hide this R's open monitor. It could be giving away some shit, so. I'm waiting for my funds to arrive into my bank account from Interactive Brokers to move into NinjaTrader. That way I can trade live. I have a funded account I am trading, but I do want to trade live. I feel like it's just the way to go if I really want to take this shit seriously. Let's go look up. Let's turn this on. Do some trading. So again, let's just get our 10 to 50. Just kind of get a range going here. Coming into the day and you make 300 bucks, then you call it a day. You know, that's kind of what I want to get to at the level that I want to get to consistently. And yeah, just do that. Also, I do need to make a trade on my Top Step account, or they're gonna fucking get rid of my account. Trade every month, right? Bang, bang. I want to get fucking rich, man. Dude, Tori Trade is fucking babe, dude. She's so hot. I shouldn't say that, but it's kind of cringy. Oh, my lighting wasn't on. Oops. I'd love to go golfing today. All these accounts are fucking blown up, man. 25, I gotta gamble. I just hope I get in the right direction. So yeah, I'm gonna be gambling. Hoping I get a bit of a runner going. See how much profit I can get. I'm gonna close out. If I can get into profit, try to get this baby out of drawdown. Oh man, this is the worst. Any news? Nothing on Wednesday, and there's no news today. I'm gonna try Thursday, tomorrow, to gamble those evals. In that case, we're just trading today. Count evals. There's like no volatility, no volume. Tap me in. Oh, oh God. If I just revision to my original thing, which is like here. Would have worked. There's no order block there. No order block. So don't trade it. Noted. When it's a legit order block, I'm chilling, bro. I didn't. Wow, it went. It worked, but at what cost? Trading too late in the day. Whatever. I was reading price action. Damn, I held up. Perfect. I don't really trust the longs, you know? It doesn't make sense. these bounces, I can definitely get consistently double. I think. You can always get like a 2-to-1, dude. So I could be making double my money. something that I will have to test. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. It's a fucking penny stock or what, dude? Perfect. I can get in on these for sure. You got order block here. Like, you gotta think these through. Like a big ass order block. Tapped in. Yeah, I'm gonna back out because it hasn't. It's been touched like 1, 2 times. So you don't touch it. Rules. I'm gonna write that down in my rules. Block cannot be tapped more than once. Got it? Got it. Cannot be tapped more than once. Look at that little reaction off that line. Like, nice. I just, don't know if this is a reason to go long. Kind of looks like the price action I'm looking at right now, which is crazy. Man, it just might go down, right? I think it's gonna get up to this order block level. Bless me. And then reverse off of there, be my guess. Right off here. Be my short level. Ugh. So I'm gonna have an order right up here at 486. Oh, 5. Holy shit, just one, please. 1050.
Order submitted.
Might get rejected off of here. I'd love it to go just tap me. Bumble clock. Just leave it. It's so moving so slow. It's crazy. One tick away. Mother fricker. Oh, yeah. The right idea, right? Yeah, you're good. You're very good. I missed it, boys and girls. One tick. Let's go. There's probably a bunch of people who went short here. I am worried now that this is not going to work. It's going to squeeze up. I'm going to cancel my order.
Order filled.
Should I just take profit? Nah, just let it run, baby. Ah.
Target filled.
Let's go, baby. That's why we do it, motherfuckers. Now if it decides to go back up, we can place a long order into that, I think. Would have just gotten the 2-to-1. That one was smart. I actually just increased my profit, like, boom. an order block here. Worked out. So I'm gonna consider that luck. I consider that luck. Tapping into an order block that I'm gonna say no. I actually think this is a huge order block here. Oh my god, that's an awesome order block. That went 2-1, like holy shit. I gotta start looking into those. Broski. You gotta go one more. Aye, aye. Be all the way down here, bro. It's after hours, but let's see what happens. Doesn't count, obviously. Holy shit. Go along here if you wanted to. You want bounce. Market order. Or
Order submitted. Order filled.
I want out. I want out. I want out. Don't love it. I don't love it. What a stupid thing to do. I didn't notice the volume and it's gonna... Gross. What is this? Stupid, man. I was so stupid. Like, I didn't even realize, like, that awesome trade is just for nothing now. Like,
Target filled.
God, not fun. Wasted $5. Yeah, like, not my trade. It's just not confident setup. Plus, I'm trading way too early for my window. Oh, I gotta hop my Discord real quick.
Zane. Dog, there's no way this fool typed all that shit out that quick.
Anyways, it worked out. I'm being a bitch.
What the fuck?
Order submitted.
Yo, it's my insurance card. Dog. I got pulled over the other day. I'm like, I can't find my insurance. That is my fucking room. Like my MA insurance is in my card, in my wallet the whole time. Oh my gosh.
I literally top ticked up here,
Bro, just
bottom ticked.
bro. Well, you know what I wish I did that I like learned later on? Keep your keys. Like all my old cars, I wish I kept the spare key. I wish I did, bro. So I could like have a bunch of just keys lying around so I can remember what car I had.
Order cancelled. Order submitted. Order submitted. Order filled. Stop filled.
He's back to real trading.
Order canceled.
shit's kind of heat though, eh? Cats are cooking. Okay, looks like we might have a trade coming up here soon. This is just insane. Then like it would be to trade here. Oh shoot, that's retarded to me. So yes, I would place an order here. This is gonna be the order cock one. Oh shit. Frick yeah. I have to do a long order in a second here. Baby, don't you? Oh, order cock. Missed it. Always mark out your order cocks, dude. Like, you see this, I go, okay, there's clearly something here. Definitely place an order there. 1050. Fucking easy as pie, buddy. You take it again. Yeah, you see how choppy this shit is? You go, fuck yeah, I'm taking this one again. There's certain times, make an exception. No, you don't want to get involved in that. As much as it might look okay, you just don't want to. Oh shit! What long?
Order submitted. Order filled.
I got in a little bit earlier, but we'll see. Happy with this trade. I've been like killing May. It's gonna be May. This is the month we need. Fucking this month. Now let's just hope for there's no crazy reversal, and hopefully we can hold up bullish momentum. Okay, rule. Stick to your fucking rules. You don't do that, buddy.
Target filled.
Nice. TP wrecked. It's 2-1 the day. Got $200 on my account. What a move, dude. See if we get one more out of it. It's the way I trade. Oh. Okay, I'll take that. But that was brutal, man. Shit. Okay. You shitting me, dude? Jesus. Jesus.
Order submitted.
Oof. I hope it reverses.
Order filled.
A lot of orders on 693. Yeah, that's showing a lot of weakness. I see it now, but
spare bon di na busquet.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Thanks again for being here. Welcome, everybody.
Stop filled. Order submitted.
I gotta learn from this because my rule states you gotta wait for the 9 EMA to bounce and then you put the fucking stomp there. So that's my fault. That's okay. I don't want to trade up in this area anyway. That was stupid of me.
I get this question all.
Wow, would you look at that? Oh, that's fantastic. Folks,
I make nothing. Zero.
because I bitched out, I would still be in this trade. But I bitched out here because it wasn't really a bullish candle, and I didn't want to trade up in here. Like, I start to second guess myself when I'm in these trades, which is something I shouldn't have. It's okay though, we learn. Definitely want to see what happens with the level 2 here. Trading up into 64.93. $493. Let's see what happens. If we can break that. Interesting. Kind of stacked up. I don't see buyers breaking that. Oh yeah. Absolutely stacked selling here. Like that, it does not have enough momentum to break. You would want to go short here. I'm gonna go short on my top step. Top step, where are you at? 1 mini contract. Oh. Let's just sell here.
Order filled.
Just from what I see on the level 2. This is to 195. We'll have a stop, and we'll have buy more here. wanted to sell some more there. But I saw that coming from a mile away.
Order filled.
As long as like these stay stacked, I'm okay. Buyers are stepping up. Mm. These orders can get eaten up, and we'll see what happens here. Last little bit of defense here. right? These are things that you can only see in the level 2. You could see how gnarly that flush was, and sellers are stepping in insane at 94.75. Let me move my stop up to 95 now. That's probably all fluff, but that's all fluff. 278 is where our stop wants to be. It's okay, as long as that order's there, like, we're good. If I could scroll, that'd be great. Thinning out.
No, I just use these as an opportunity to learn. So, yeah, I'm going to pop up this over here, and I'm just going to look up some, I need to see a close up here for me to take another trade. Um, let's look up what is iceberg bookmap. Hmm.
We're going to be talking about what they are, how to identify them, and how I use them to gain a trading edge. I am a partner of Bookmap and trust their products very, very much. I add very little bit to my system, and one of those absolutely is Bookmap. It can help you gain an edge on the order flow. So what is an iceberg? The technical definition of an iceberg is subtype of limit orders where only part of the order can be visible to other market participants via market data. Iceberg orders extend irregular limit orders by having additional properties such as buy or sell, limit price, time in force, quantity, or simply maximum displayed size, or the tip of the iceberg. You're only seeing a very small quantity, which looks like tip of the iceberg. Iceberg, right ahead! Now, why would I want to track this information? Well, because the people using these icebergs are very large players, usually institutions or maybe an individual that has a very, very large brokerage. And we all know big players love to manipulate the market to skew the data in a way that's going to benefit their positions. Icebergs are a way for them to hide a good portion of their orders while not tipping their hand. And before we move on here, if you want to know more about the iceberg indicator in depth, you can head over to the Bookmap knowledge base. Link is down in the description of this video. You can learn more about icebergs or any other indicator that Bookmap offers. And now I'm going to show you how I go about identifying them and utilizing them in my trading. So what you're looking at right here is the Bookmap software. We're going back to this day of May 28th, 2024. The iceberg indicator to point out is this little blue line here with the 174 number next to it. Now that number is just the quantity of icebergs. This will change based on the influx or outflow of the icebergs hitting the tape. Now when I'm watching for icebergs here, I'm going to watch for them coming on the tape or off the tape, how many they are and how big the quantities are. Just like all other indicators, if there's just a couple of very small icebergs, I'm not really going to pay attention to them. They don't really mean much to me. However, when I see one come on there, I'm going to see how does it fluctuate. Does it start to increase in size? Does it start to inflate like a balloon, getting bigger and bigger and bigger? Because that's going to tell me that there's going to be some generalized market movement coming pretty soon. Or do I see a number of icebergs coming on the tape? 6, 7, 8 different icebergs. Now we can go a couple of days or even weeks without seeing any major iceberg movement, but typically when I see very large movement come on, that means that we're getting ready to move, and that's when I start kind of sitting up in my chair and being ready for a little bit of volatility. Now what we're looking at here is May 28th, 2024. Now the session before and the overnight session had been pretty bullish, and we were going into a resistance. And right here at 10:05 Eastern, 9:05 Central, we have our first iceberg of the day come up. Normally, not that big a deal. It's only 174. That's pretty small. So now I'm watching. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit play here and show you what I'm looking for. When I see these come on, remember, I'm looking either for either a large quantity of icebergs or an inflation of a single iceberg. And you see right off the bat, that thing goes from 174 to 1,000. That's a very, very large iceberg, and it's a very aggressive iceberg that quickly inflates. So what I'm seeing here is as the price action climbs into this iceberg, which is a upper sell side iceberg, and then now it pops and transacts finally at 3,000. With a 3,000 size sell side iceberg on the tape, I'm going to expect at least some sort of pullback. However, I'm still going to watch for additional icebergs to really gain confidence. But here's what the chart looks like for this session. So this was May 28th. This is the 5-minute candles on ES contracts. And we see the price action transacted right into that iceberg right here at 9:20 Central, 10:20 Eastern time. So for me, I'm making note of that. It was a very tight price action today. The price action only went from a 53.86 to about 53.93. We're only talking about 5 to 7 points worth of range here. It's not that much, very tight day. So I'm not trading that until I get some sort of volatility break, which the icebergs are noting that we will get. Let's press forward and see what happens. All right, so we're going forward about 40 minutes after the first 3,000 quantity iceberg filled right here. And you see that we do have a couple of other icebergs coming on the tape. We had this one at 370 quantity fill. We had this one 200 fill. And now we've got this little 75 quantity that's just hanging out there, hasn't been filled yet. So I'm going to hit play here, and you see, just like the prior 3,000, it comes up and attacks it right here, and it immediately begins to inflate. So it started out at 75, and now it is increased up to 635 as the buyers start to press into the resistance. So it started out at 75, and now it is increased up to 635 as the buyers start to press into the resistance. A lot of that iceberg starts to hit the tape. And we see, just like the last 3,000, it comes up, transacts into the 3,000 area again, and now we have two very, very, very large icebergs.
Guess this is the iceberg one here.
On the tape, 3,000, 3,000. That tells me that once again, the sellers are selling into this resistance and we're getting ready for a turn down as we now have two very large sell side icebergs on the tape. Now remember, a little bit of a refresher here. The reason why these are so important is because these are hidden orders. These icebergs are hidden from the actual quantity of the total executed orders that they're on the tape, that the iceberg indicates that there's a difference between the total quantity executed and the quantity presented on the book, which shows intention, and that's the key word there, motivation and intention. Now, what I do is now I start to base into my VPA. So I take this information, I go to my charts, and I start looking for volume price action indications that we could potentially be looking for a downturn. If I see plenty of top wicks into resistance with any kind of volume, then I can really tie this data in here and have confidence in taking a short entry or just getting out of any kind of long entries. So that second 3,000 iceberg filled right here on that candle right there. So now we have one fill here, we had one fill here. Now mind you, this is only 2 points worth of movement on ES, which is very, very tight. But it does show you that as the market creeps higher, it's starting to transact into major supply. Now there are two events that occur here coming up next that make this an actionable downside short position. One, we have yet another large 3,000 quantity iceberg hit the tape right here at 11:23 Central, 12:23 Eastern Time. They build and inflate to another 3,000 iceberg and transact it at the same levels as the prior one. And two, we have what I call a selling climax. Now, this is derivative of the Wyckoff method, if you're familiar with Wyckoff, and Anna Collins' volume price analysis teachings. It's where we have one final upthrust by the buyers into supply, followed by an immediate aggressive downside rejection by the sellers. So with the iceberg coupled in with a selling climax, that says you're about ready to start entering a short position for some downside. Now what happens a couple of minutes later? The market sells off from 53.93 down to 53.62, which is a 31-point move. You'll have in the menus, and you adjust.
Pretty goddamn cool tool. This is a very cool tool.
Thanks for coming, everybody. What we're covering here with this trader offer, these volume dots trading or transacting on that best bid and offer, and then the heat map. And the heat map is the one that throws most people off a bit. They've never really seen liquidity displayed or visualized this way, and this is an advantage using Bookmap. So all it is data from your DOM, your depth of market, the auction, placed on the chart historically. So you can see where they're bidding and offering. Okay, very simple, very straightforward. And I'm going to take that off and we're going to go over that in just a minute here. Now we're just looking at two elements on the bookmap chart: best bid and offer and volume. Okay? So the volume dots here shows you precisely where the volume is transacting within that best bid and offer. Now I'm going to take the volume dots off as well. Okay? And we're just going to look at best bid and offer. Now this is a very simple view of the market. Most of us understand exactly what this is here. Okay? Now, why is it an advantage to display the data this way? It's because it's not aggregated. Okay? I'm going to overlay a candlestick chart and just take a quick look at it. This is a 5-minute candlestick chart. And what you're getting between each 5 minutes is only 4 data points: open, high, low, and close. Okay? So you're completely cut off from what's going on within that 5-minute period. Look at the speed of this move right here. Okay? That is not apparent in the candlesticks. And there's all sorts of other microstructure, like this little double bottom down here. Okay? You cannot see that in the candlestick either. It's because it's aggregated within that 5-minute period. Let's just zoom in here and I'll show you. Okay? So between this doji here and then this candle here, there was this little double bottom. Okay? We're going to see a lot of different things here, and this offers tremendous insight to what's going on here, because we went down below a consolidated range here and it rejected. It rejected once, it came back down, it tried again, and it rejected. And we came back up into the range, and we actually came up to the other side of the range. And this is pretty typical. When it rejects from one side of the range, it will many times will test to the other side of the range. So this kind of detail and transparency is important. We want to see the microstructure or other structural elements. And now let's turn on the volume dots, because we want to see the context between structure and volume. And let me bring down the dot size just a little bit here. And you can see that sellers came in, they hit the bid here, and then went back and forth a little bit. Then look at the retest down here. Okay, it didn't even make a lower low. And look at the selling in this little area here. And there's very little selling here, this red dot, just one red dot compared to many over here. Let's zoom into this area because I just want to show you how simple and straightforward this data is. Okay? Best offer is the red line. Best bid is the green line. Okay? Now, the green dots, let's zoom into an area where we can show that a little bit better. In fact, let me see the dot settings here. What do I have? Let's put it on none or smart. There we go. All right. Many different dot settings or volume configurations that you can take a look at. So we'll zoom in here. Now, the green dots, these are market buy orders. This is the aggressor classification of volume. Okay, so the market buyer here crossed the spread, paid up for it, and they didn't provide liquidity. They took liquidity off of the best offer. And a green dot paints here in bookmap. Red dot is the opposite, is a market sell. Okay, so very straightforward data here. And we're going to go through this in the basic microstructures here in just a minute and extrapolate that into bigger structures. But we need to understand what these things are here. Now, also the preciseness, the way that bookmap is recording this data is important. If we zoom in here, you'll see that there are many transactions within these bigger dots. You can look at the, let's bring up the dot size.
Wow.
Look at or use the data tip tool here and hover over these areas and get precise data of really what occurred here. Volume of 29 for this dot. You get the date, the timestamp here. You can see the timestamp here is 10:03 and 48 seconds, but then it's down to the nanosecond level. Okay? Then what was on the ask at this price level, and then the volume. Okay, so this bigger dot is volume of 29. Okay, smaller dot here, this is volume of 1. This one's volume of 2. Okay? Now we're already down at microsecond level here. Okay, so we're already looking at millions of seconds. This is the environment that bookmap was actually born in. We came from the HFT environment, and recording this data very precisely was important. Okay, how it hit the book. Right, now we zoom back out, though we don't trade at those levels unless you're looking at your algo performance, and then you can see we've just aggregated that visually into a bigger dot, and we can see the overall volume is 64. Okay, so that's the way bookmap is displaying the volume. Now, in some cases, you'll see, if we zoom out a little bit more, some of these pie displays of volume. It's just that we give you the overall kind of aggregate view of what happened here. So 3/4 is selling in this big dot here, and 1/4 of it is buying. Right, so that's the volume. But when we zoom back in, you'll see we pull it all apart and we see everything that unfolded here. Okay, so that's the volume in Bookmap, and that's the best bid and offer. Those are 2 elements. Now there's one element still missing here that's really important to understand, because we were just looking at this little double bottom here, and noting that as sellers came in down here and broke the low, we went sideways for a bit. The sellers did not come down and make a new low, or not enough selling
flush.
to accept down here.
Holy
Buyers come back
flush.
and they lift the offer. Okay? And you can see the buyers come in.
Damn, I wanted to, shit, I wanted to kind of exit my position, but I just missed it.
And they continue to buy up into these higher highs. It starts to exhaust out up in these areas here too. Now, what is the element that's missing here? Okay. It's the third element, and that's where they're bidding and offering. Okay, we don't have any insight to that. And now we'll come back into this little area around 1002, 1003, but we'll go to the current market and we'll take a look at this. Is this like level 3 data? You know, there's different definitions of level 3 data. We're looking at complete depth of market here in Bookmap, but yeah, I would, I guess you would call it level 3, you know, data, Tucker, or Kevin. Anyway, one more thing I want to mention here. You may be looking at footprint chart. Okay? Still, footprint charts are great because it very precisely shows you where the volume is transacting. Okay, but what you're going to miss though with that footprint chart is you will not see the
This guy's a nerd.
because it's aggregated data within a period. Okay, it might be volume period, it might be time, it might be point and figure or rotation. It doesn't matter. It's still aggregated. You're getting less transparency. You're not seeing the play of or context of volume within the structure. And then the biggest part though is you're not able to see where they're bidding and offering. Okay, it offers tremendous insight here. So let's take the candlestick chart off here and let's look at the current market. And this very precisely define this heat map here. Okay, to the right of this vertical white line, this is the current market. Okay, everything else to the left is historical. Okay, here's our price ladder. And then this COB column stands for current order book. This is liquidity, these numerical values here. These are contracts at these specific price levels. Okay, they want to be sellers up here. Down below, they want to be buyers. This is our current auction in the market. Okay, now you can see these numbers are always changing in the dome. Okay? That's the issue here with the dome, is that it doesn't record it, because you'll have to remember all of these areas here. How much liquidity is there? Where did they pull it and add it? Did they flip from offer to the bid, or vice versa? All of these types of questions are very difficult to answer by looking at the dome. You would have to memorize that, and looking at it over time is rather impossible. Okay, so what we do in Bookmap is very simply take these numerical values here, okay, and we transform it into a heat map. Okay, the more liquidity there is, the different color that it'll get. Okay, the scale of the heat maps in the top center of the chart. Red and orange is very high liquidity, followed by yellow, white, blue, and then black. Okay, so we can immediately see there's very high liquidity down here at 29.26. Also pretty high liquidity up in these areas here around 30 to 31. Okay, so this is our current state of the auction. Now, when the numbers change, you'll see the heat map change. The interesting part here is that data from the dome is then recorded onto the chart historically, and that's all the heat map is. Okay? So these striations that you see in the heat map here is the adding and pulling of liquidity. This offers you insight to the condition in the auction. You can start to ascertain if they want to trade at these levels or not. Okay, so for example, we had pretty high liquidity up here around 29. We just came into this area here, and you can see a lot of this liquidity pulled right before. Okay, so we can answer the question, did they want to trade
What
here?
the fuck is this microstructure shit? It's like looking into a DNA.
In the dome.
Holy shit.
And then over time, and then zooming out, etc., it gets very challenging. All right, now you can see they continue to pull here, maybe getting partially filled in some of these areas here, but the target now is up here at 30 and 3/4. Okay, and buyers seem to be pretty interested here. Look at the buying here.
It's crazy.
Starting to come in a little bit here as well.
I don't know if this will help my trader.
But let's see if they can pop it up into
But it will help with my intelligence.
At 30, 31, or 30 and 3/4. You can see the buyers are in control. We see more volume dots here at higher highs. Okay, green dots pulling the market up. Okay, so potential reversals starting to take place here. Okay, we're breaking the structure as well. Anyway, that's the kind of overview here of Bookmap. What you're looking at in terms of liquidity, context between that, volume, and structure. Okay, guys, I think I'll get to your questions a little bit later, if you don't mind. Okay, Michael, yeah, I'll get to this question. How you're able to differentiate between pulling and getting filled? It's really simple. You just look right at it here, zoom in, and here's what it looks like. Okay, these guys are getting filled. Okay, there's no question about it. Okay, high liquidity. They pulled a little bit here, as you can see, but look at the volume trading right into that high liquidity. Okay, now this is just updating a little bit later. That's why you see it off of the best bid and offer. Okay, the volume first, and then it updates the best bid and offer after. Okay, so there's your distinction right there. We know that these guys are now
TP
long.
hit.
Okay, these guys wanted to buy, they bought. Okay, now you see it go through a little bit, but look at the understanding that you can start to comprehend or gain from understanding where they're getting filled in the book. Okay, it's starting to absorb some of that selling pressure. Okay, sellers did go through that area. Okay, but we start to see buyers starting to come in. Okay, and they're starting to provide liquidity down here at 26, and they're not even tested. Okay, so we can start to look at these areas here and gain a lot of insight if they stay in the book or if they pull. If they pull, this is what it looks like. Okay, and they're starting. Okay, some of where they're getting filled, comprehend or gain from understanding where they're getting filled in the book. Okay, it's starting to absorb some of that selling pressure. Okay, sellers did go through that area. Okay, but we start to see buyers starting to come in. Okay, and they're starting to provide liquidity down here at 26, and they're not even tested. Okay, so we can start to look at these areas here and gain a lot of insight.
Everything, like, get off me.
If they pull, this is what it
Life,
looks
bro.
like. Okay. Well, some of it is getting partially filled in here. Okay, but you'll just see them pull the liquidity, right? Like in these areas here, see how they're just pulling here. Okay. So that's how you can make the distinction. And if they're pulling, and if there's still more buying interest, likely price is going to go higher and test into that high liquidity. Okay, so we're really starting to understand now auction. Now look at this auction and what's going on. And this is higher time frame. We don't have to just sit here and look at the current auction and market data to gain a lot of insight from the heat map and liquidity. Because we're zoomed out here and we're looking at, well, since 11 o'clock here, we can zoom out quite a bit more. And we can take this data here and understand the auction and use the dome on much, much higher time frames as we zoom out here. All right, so pretty important area around this 32.50. Okay, and pretty nice sell-off here to the downside, but buyers are starting to come in. See if they can reach back up into that maybe 32.50 or so. All right, so that's the overview here. Now there are several other things to take a look at. I've just given you just 3 elements here on the bookmap chart. There's all sorts of ways of configuring and filtering your volume, your heat map settings. There you can look at all sorts of details here or less details. It's really up to you and what you prefer. There's some volume columns here, all sorts of ways of looking at volume here. Let me just show you. Trades counter,
Living
quotes
life,
counter, quotes
brother.
delta, a complete trading dome similar to other domes out there, very configurable. Trading nodes, time and sales, all sorts of things here, all sorts of ways of configuring it as well. Okay. We also have trading from the bookmap chart. I'm going to go over that a little bit later. And then there's an API as well. You can develop your own trading strategies. 3 come with bookmap: chase, escape, and execute. And then these
Mom, I'm living my life. I am trying my best. Doing anything I can. I'm doing everything I can do. Believe me, I'm doing everything I can do. Everything I could do.
And own automated strategies here.
I like my life. I'm fine. Just you piss me off when you kind of
you guys with Top Step together with Rhythmic have some really nice advantages.
Oh, Jesus.
All right. Okay, we're right up into our 32.50 or so area here. 32, let's call it. Okay, that was the anticipated move just based on what we were reading here. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward read. And well, let's see if they what kind of occurs up here. See how they're starting to stay in the book a little bit more here. Okay, so starting to get filled partially here. Okay, other questions here, guys. I'm going to continue on. I want to. We're going to have to go through this rather quickly. We don't have a lot of time here, so I want to get through the material, and I'll get to your questions at the end, if you don't mind. Okay. All right. So that's the overview of bookmap. Now let's just zoom in, and we're going to go through those basic market mechanics again. in a little more detail here, okay? Because what makes price move? This is something that a lot of traders, like I mentioned, they really don't understand. And this is the bookmap education that, in basically the environment that we originally came from. When we started to develop bookmap actually just for ourselves, okay, from the quant environment and testing our own algos. Okay, now, and let's just take the heat map off for the moment here. We're just going to simplify this. Okay, so best offer, best bid, and then transactions. Okay, so what makes price move is really quite simple. You have the best bid and offer, and then there's liquidity on that best bid and offer where they're dealing. You know, you always have to buy or sell from somebody, okay, for the transaction to take place. If there's no one there, well, then the next transaction, let's say there's no one here at this 26 and 3/4, and there's someone up here at 29. Well, the next buy transaction, that's where it's going to get filled. It's as simple as that. Okay. Now, there's lots of liquidity in this market, so there's several hundreds of contracts here. One price level up here, there's 314 in the order book, as we can see. Okay. Now, so what happened here? As we kind of zoom in and we go forward, there's 240 here, okay, on the offer, on the best offer. Okay, transaction 1 has taken place in this view. Okay, now 141. There's still 224 here. Okay, it's going to update though. Okay, 236. Okay, and now you can see as that updates here, we're going to see the all of that liquidity has transacted. 245 have transacted. Okay, this is a volume column here. Okay, it's a chart range volume. What is viewable in my chart range here? Okay, so now they've taken all the liquidity here at 26 and 3/4. So what happens now? Well, it's the next level. Okay, so as we go forward, it's the next level is what where price goes on the best offer. Okay, that's where they're now offering here because they've taken all of this liquidity. Okay, so now the bid could simply stay down here. It doesn't matter. Okay, but it tightens up rather quickly, almost instantaneously. And so many of the markets will do that, especially the S&P. The next transaction now takes place here. Okay? It's at the actual same price level. Okay? However, this is a sell. Okay, that's taking place on the best bid. Okay? So price has not, in fact, price has not changed here yet. Okay? But we're seeing a seller come in at the same price level. Okay? This is why, because the best offer went up 1 tick. Okay? Now, until another transaction takes place up here at 29.27, and let's just zoom out a little bit. Okay? Then price has moved.
Order canceled.
And there it is. Okay? So now price has moved. Okay? And that's where we are. Well, they came right back in here immediately after with another 3 lot. So price did move up to 27, and then as I go forward, it moved right back down after these transactions took place. Okay? But that's exactly what moved price there. Okay? It's, I know, very simple and very straightforward, but you know, a lot of traders really don't quite understand that, and how this can give you insight all the way from this kind of microsecond view or millisecond view on up into a monthly chart. Okay, you're looking at the same basic market mechanics. Okay? It is an auction. All right, so that's the transactions. Now, there's another side that we haven't looked at yet, and that is the liquidity, the heat map. Okay? And we'd have to kind of play with this heat map here and bring up the settings quite a bit. Okay? We're going to look at all the details here. Okay? Now, it's really blown out, but what we want to look at here and understand is the liquidity taken, okay, or how the book affects price as well. Now, traditionally, or technically, the only thing that can move price from one level to the next is the aggressor. Okay, that's technically. However, you'll note in all sorts of other areas, in fact, we don't need the heat map setting so high. We'll note that you'll see the amount of orders that come into the order book affect price tremendously. Okay, so let's just this is where we start to get into spoofing or other types of things. Well, in this little area here, okay, this was kind of new information. They were down here, the majority of on the bid at 26. Okay, price came up, it traded into 29, went sideways for a bit, and then they started to bid up here now.
Order submitted.
At 28 and a quarter. And we found still more buyers interested here. They're starting to pull here, as you can see on the offer. See how they're pulling in this little area here? Okay, so we have context now between the aggressor and supply and demand. Where is that demand? It's down here. It's actually up higher than it was previously. There's more demand at a higher level. That is bullish in this context because we're finding buyers and they're starting to pull that supply to a higher level. Okay, and price continues to go up here. Okay, so the order book here is the next level. It has tremendous impact on price. Okay, so technically it cannot move it, but it essentially can. It can truly have an effect on price. Okay? Now, that's a very, very simple and straightforward thing to understand. What affects, let's just go to the current market for that. What affects price here? It's always the orders. Okay, the first level here that's going to affect price is the order book. Okay? Where are they bidding and offering? It just has to be that way. It's just then the orders here by the market buys and sells. You see the reaction and context between the two here. Okay? So it's truly the orders here that is affecting price. Okay? So we're starting to understand now the supply and demand and the appetite of the aggressor. Now we can see the appetite of the aggressor here is pretty straightforward, right? Look at them buying here, and they're charging up after this liquidity they wanted, and these guys are actually pulling, and we're continuing to see buyers here, so we're going higher. Okay, looking for 35 to test. Okay, we're probably getting a nice little short squeeze here. We're looking at that 32. No, it's still got a little, yeah, 35 is the a nice little stopping place here. This is where price broke from. Okay, so now we're going to take, for example, that's a much higher structure to look at, but we're going to take that very simple basic market mechanics that we've just discussed, and we're going to start to understand now not only basic price movements here, but structure. Okay, and kind of overall, and this works into auction market theory and your volume profile and market profile. Okay? And the simplest structure would be to look at something like this. Okay? We just see 3 ticks basically going, 3 tick wide market here. Where price seems to be pretty happy right here in the middle, for example. Look at them on the offer up here. Okay, do you see buyers up here? No. There were some earlier. Okay? Now there's none. You see sellers though interested down here on the bid. Okay, see them hitting the bid. Right? So in this little auction right here, you can see that we're exhausting out here, and you can see that sellers are starting to ramp up their interest in selling more, and they break price down a tick here. Okay, and actually the best bid went down 2 ticks. Okay, and then it kind of accepted back up into this range and going sideways here. Okay, now the point of this is starting to understand structure, okay, in these basic market mechanics, and we're going to extrapolate this into much higher time frames. Okay? So what happens down here? Well, we exhaust out on the sell side. Where are the sellers now? Okay, they're 1 tick higher, and they are interested here. They are selling. Okay, okay. But look at these guys here. They're pulling their liquidity, and in fact, we can even extrapolate from this. See how they're pulling from this little area here, okay? And actually pulling from this little area here as well. And so they're not even interested down here at 30. Okay, so because it went from this darker red, kind of orangish red to orange, and they're definitely pulling here at 31. Okay, now price starts to go away and they add back in. Okay, so answering the question about them wanting to be buyers here, and they do not. Right, so anyway, getting back to this little range here and understanding this context here, which we'll go over in more detail, we come back up and we trade in the point of control of this little area here. We go another tick higher and we start to find some buyers. We go one more tick higher and we're still finding buyers. Okay? So now buyers are starting to trade at the higher highs here. Okay? And you can start to look at this. You can even look at some of your profiles, okay? And start to understand why price is moving. When you start to see we're not quite getting it here, we're not getting like a P-shaped profile here, not yet because of the majority of the selling down here. Okay? But you'll start to see, for example, even in this very, very simple structure, okay, skews in the profile, skews in the auction here. Okay? And you can start to look for price to test higher, okay, and explore these higher areas here. So, and there we go, and you can see that they came in and they are reaching for this higher liquidity up here at 33 and a quarter, and they pulled. All right, so now let's take that and we just covered, and let's look at a much higher time frame, and it is no different. Okay, there's just more transactions and more time and more volume. Okay, so this big area here, we can cover this. Okay, so actually from the open, or 9:30, you see the drive down very, very quickly. Retest back up to where it broke from. Okay, probing that area, coming back down, and now we see a big structural area down here. Okay, going sideways this entire way here. All right, so let me clear the drawings here. Okay, now we can start to read also that the same, putting together the same pieces we were just looking at in that 3 or 4 tick range. Okay, now this much bigger range here. Okay, well, where's the volume trade